Will my new ROG Ally replace my Steam Deck? I posted a video earlier this week explaining my first thoughts and feelings on my new Ally and why I think it's probably going to replace my Steam Deck. Now, since a portion of the internet only seems to be happy when it's raining, let's talk about some things I actually don't like. Its biggest strength, turns out, is also its greatest weakness, and that is Windows 11. It's clumsy and it's clunky. The one thing I do love about my Steam Deck is its user interface. This thing runs SteamOS and it runs it pretty flawlessly. But because of that, I cannot natively launch game stores like Epic, Battle.net, Ubisoft, EA Play, Xbox Game Pass like I can on the Ally because the Ally is running Windows 11. With Windows 11 comes all of the Windows 11 problems. I had a lot of you ask how quickly you can boot up and get into a game. Well, how fast can you boot up your PC and open and run a game? Because that's the answer. Unlike something like the Steam Deck or the Switch, there really is no suspend mode. So every time I'm done playing, I either need to go in here and put this thing to sleep or fully power it down. So that does take away some of the time that I would prefer to just spend playing my game. So if you're looking for something to just pick up and play for a few minutes, probably not the thing for you. Stick with something like the Switch or even the Analog Pocket if you're into the old school stuff. The second thing that this thing doesn't do as well as the Steam Deck or just about anything else, storing games on the SD card. Getting games to install on it is not as easy as it is on something like the Steam Deck. Of course, with the Steam Deck, you're only using Steam and the directory just points to it. But when you're using this, you have multiple game launchers, so just like a Windows PC, you need to go into the settings of each game launcher and direct your installs to the SD card. It was a little bit confusing at first. Also, because it is Windows 11, I almost feel like this thing is better if it were docked and I were using a keyboard on it, and when I went to play the games, I could just pick it up and play the games. So the process to play games on this thing, not totally streamlined. But what do you expect from something that is running Windows? With the quick press of a button, you actually can get into this ROG interface that allows you to select games as if it were some kind of game console, and that is nice, but it is a little bit clumsy and it needs a little bit of work. Just like a regular PC, you could close this and open your games directly from the desktop. One of the other setbacks this thing has, it does rely on somewhat of an internet connection. Every launcher is set up a little differently, and some of them will allow you to select some sort of offline play to allow you to play in like an airplane mode. But obviously there are a lot of games on here that I'm playing that require a constant connection. So again, if you're on an airplane, there's a handful of games you could play, but you should probably stick with your Switch. And there's the one thing that everybody thinks that I neglected to mention, and that is battery life. Guys, this thing is a portable PC. Of course the battery life is terrible. What do you expect out of something like this? You're not going to get Nintendo Switch-like battery life out of a handheld PC like this. But to my experience so far in the 2 weeks that I've had it, this thing's battery runs about as well as the Steam Deck. And that's on a game per game basis. Now, I will admit I'm probably in a small subsection because I play them mostly on the couch when my kids are using the TV, or I'll play them while I'm laying in bed while my wife is watching the TV or playing on the TV. I actually really enjoy playing my games like that. So most of the time, this thing is plugged in. I do have an Anker 747 battery that will more than double the battery life on this. So in the instance that I want to play for 4 or 5 hours on an airplane, I could do that. So yes, battery life. But in the end, I want to make one thing very clear. I am by no means saying that this is a better machine than the Steam Deck. I actually really love my Steam Deck, but now that I have purchased one of these, I just genuinely don't see why I would carry around my Steam Deck. Now look folks, I am aware that there are workarounds to running stuff like Windows on a Steam Deck or booting into desktop mode, but I don't want to have to fiddle with all of that stuff and download new drivers just to do that. I'd rather just pick it up and play, and that's what the ROG Ally is allowing me to do, and that's why for the most part the Steam Deck will probably be sitting on its dock for a good majority of the time now. Now stick around for another video shortly because I am going to make one where I point out all the things that I I actually really love about the Ally. I know, you can't wait to make all your snarky comments about the new handheld that I'm genuinely liking. I'd also like to point out, this is not some sort of paid advertisement. ASUS did not give me this machine. I purchased it myself because I genuinely, if you can't tell from behind me, love handheld gaming. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I'm happy to answer them for you.